What is crack-a-lagging, everybody? What's happening? Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Let's rock and roll. Let's just get some things straightened out, and we are ready for blast off. I hope everybody is well. Trying to get the right. One second, folks. We're gonna get this up and running correctly, or one way or another. Let's go to a different layout. How are we doing? I hope everybody's well. I'd like to thank all our friends for coming in as we do what we do. Without any more being said, I don't know why we are having an issue with getting this rolling. There we go. Get this a little bigger. All right, let's put us in where we want to be. A little more pleasant to the eyes as far as club feel, because we're going to tell a good one tonight. I don't know a good one, but we'll do our best to accommodate, come up with something good for tonight. All right. So, the comments are flying in. I wasn't getting any. All right, here we go. So, first off, let me welcome everybody in. I hope everybody can hear me good. Nicky, man, what's happening, brother? Let's go Maple Leafs tonight, bro. Let's go Maple Leafs. All right. Nicky, what's happening? Let's go Maple Leafs. Maddie. We're good. Everybody hears me? Joe Town Jack, thanks for coming in, buddy. Good conversation today. Roy, I know you're going to bed soon. Thank you, brother. Davey T. Maureen, how are you, my dear? BX, what's up, brother? Good to see you. I did not get your email, but I'll check it out. Michael, what's up, my man? Stevie boy, what's happening? I know if you don't stay with us, I know you got stuff going on, brother. I know you'll catch the replay. I'm glad you like the song. I'm glad you like that. Yeah, I have a wide range of music I do like personally. I'll tell you what's happening that's awesome, and then we're going to get right into it. I give you my word. I'm not going to procrastinate. We'll get right into it. I'm starting to, it's great. I'm building relationships with everybody in our community and the friends group. And I want it to just grow and grow. And I want this place to be a special place where everybody feels like we're at home and you know everybody in here. And there's no disrespect going on. And we got nothing but love for each other. And I believe that's happening and we're growing. The outside interference can stay outside. I had a meltdown the other night. Got a little excited. That's done. That's over with. That's off my chest. Done. We move on, and forget about it. BX, good to see you. I will read the email afterwards. I'll give you my phone number. You call me anytime, my brother. Anytime. And everybody knows that in here. Whoever doesn't have my number and wants it for any reason, just email me and I will be more than happy to give it to you. We got number love for everybody in here. So here we go. Without further delay, and I hope I didn't miss anybody. I think I greeted everybody. I think we got everybody. Without further ado, let's get to it. Glasses are going to come off. No, but then I get yelled at. Then I miss things in the chat. Let's start off with this. Roy says, we got to do Roy, you read my mind. You read my mind. I'm going to say something, and I want to do it. I've been talking about it, and they say, like, when you're thinking of something, you shouldn't say it because then I don't care if anybody else does it because we're going to do it our way anyway. So I do want to do something like a Midnight Madness thing. Now, our good friend, Tommy Stiggs, he does like a night, or I've seen him do it like where he'll play some music. I think that's great, relaxing. I want to do like a midnight type show where March Madness. We'll do like a Midnight Madness and create a setting where, like, make your house the nightclub that night, and I'll just supply the music. I'm not worried about a copyright. As soon as we're done with our night, we'll take it down, the music part of it. But we'll always have that video to go back to, and the chats, and we'll just have a good maybe hour or two of me changing up the music, basically playing part of the DJ and rapping in between and talking, create that club night experience, I know just because I'm from New York City, I know everybody had their own, whatever state and city you're from, where you had that stuff. Tommy Stiggs is great people, no doubt about it. I'm going to put that up. Me and Tom had a beautiful conversation. I was in there yesterday morning. I told you guys I hadn't, last couple of days been a little tough on sleep, so I was starting to forget what day it was. But we're good now. As you can see, I got some energy. Got to speaking to a lot of different people over the last few days, and it's just good stuff. Sometimes you need to do that. BX, awesome that you came in, my brother. I mean that. Man of my word. I say it, I mean it. I don't say things just to say them. Roro G, it's a pleasure to have you here, Roro. It is a pleasure to have you here, Roro. I know I mean that. Thank you for coming in. Without further ado, let's get to what we gave Tommy our word, Mr. Tommy Real Deal. One night we were doing one of these nights where I talk about an event I worked or whatever, and we talk about, what happened that night or what my experience was dealing with whatever we're going to speak about, whether it be Hollywood, music industry, sports, whatever. And some were good memories, and some of our favorite people that maybe we watch on TV or some of the groups we love weren't such nice people, or maybe some of them were great. I told you about the Duran just recently. Awesome, great. And I also had to admit that I was a Duran fan, which at that time I had to keep it low. But tonight, I can't do it. I can't. Let me see. I'm going to stay back a little further tonight. All right. So we're going to go tonight with, Tonight we're going to go with, I'm going to give you a couple if you don't mind. I'm going to sneak one in. I'm going to give you a cheapie and then I think a good one. The cheapie means it'll be a little shorter. So I'll start with that one. So, but first, Roro G, welcome. I don't want to miss anybody. I think we got everybody, but as you come in, if I see you, I'll give you a shout. Roy, I'll catch you. Tommy, my man, I'm just getting to your part. So one night we're doing a show. It might have been a couple weeks ago. It might not have been the Duran one. It might have been the Snoop one, whichever one. And I was saying I didn't know what to name this type of show we're going to do. And it has to do with my years of working in the security industry. And it wound up being strictly like venues for A-listers in every area. And so Tommy was in that show, was listening that night, and he was chiming in. So I said, I just can't come up with a good name for the series. So Tommy said we should name it the Tommy Real Deal Doorman series. So as I was making I gave him my word, you got it. So as I was making the thumbnail today, on the bottom of that thumbnail, it said, I believe, a Tommy Real Deal Doorman show. So shout out to my man Tommy Real Deal, who has created this series. Is named after him because he came up with the name. I did have to put the security part in there, so anybody that might stumble upon it that wants to hear what this might be about tonight, they'll get that. But anybody else will know this is the Tommy Real Deal Doorman series show. So here we go. So I'm going to give you a short one first, and then we're going to go into another event at another venue that I worked. One has to do with a designer, the top designer in the world, and another has to do with one of my favorite groups. I guess you could say, I guess they were a group, right? Earth, Wind, and Fire. An event I worked with Earth, Wind, and Fire at Cipriani Wall Street concert series. And this first story I'm going to start with, I was working at Pastis. I was working the door that evening on a very cold winter night. and I'm going to explain what happened that evening. So we'll start with that. Welcome in, and let's get to it. Let's enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy. You'll voice your opinion either way. So, I believe it was a Thursday night. So I would go right from my day job right to wherever I was working. So Pastis, I think I had it was different than Cipriani's and some of the other venues. Pastis, it was usually like a later start, like a 9 or 10 or something like that. Whatever it was. I get there. Pastis was a lot different than Cipriani. I won't get into, the size and venue type thing. But Pastis was a place that was very popular at the time. As a matter of fact, my son Vincent just went with his girl 2 weeks ago and told me it's still crazy packed. And he went for brunch. So 15 years later, it's still nuts down in that meatpacking district area. That's what they call that area, whoever's not from New York City. So I get to Pastis, and I was, Pastis isn't a very big place, but there's really only 2 locations for your doorman there, security, doorman, whatever you want to call it. You're either at the front door or you're inside, because as soon as you walk in Pastis, and I want you guys to look these places up so you get the feel of the layout of the place. So, maybe in your mind it could take you there. Maybe not as we're doing it, but you'll get an idea of the places that we're talking about. So you're either at the door as people are coming in. If there's something special going on, they'll always let me know, or whoever's there that night. You always had it was 2 or 3 man crew at Pastis all the time. So I'm at the door. I wasn't inside. That's what I was saying. You always have 2 guys on both sides of the lounge. One looks like he's working the dining room, but you really concentrate on the lounge, and the other guy's on the opposite side of the bar. Lounge, fancy word. I'm at the door. Nobody gives me any special instructions about, like that night I told you with Rod Stewart coming in. Nobody gives me nothing. It's freezing cold. I'm telling you, freezing. It's like a February. It's freezing. I'm inside the door. Normally at Pastis, there would be a general manager or manager that night next to me with a clipboard. They had their own doorman, but he was like a greeter. I'm there for security reasons only. But their doorman is usually next to whoever's working the door security-wise. Nobody's saying anything to me about GDM. How are you, my dear? Nobody's giving me any special instructions about anybody coming in or anything like that. So I'm not paying attention. I'm not paying attention for anything special. So this one, I had a habit. To this day, I can't sit still, I guess. But no, I had it. I would, even though I was stationed at the door, and it's freezing, I was stationed inside the door. They looked out for us that way, right at the front. So anybody coming in, you had to have reservations at this time to get into Pastis, or you waited on that line, and that line was crazy long. In the freezing cold, people would wait, forget it. So I would go in and out though, and I didn't have to do this. It doesn't make me a great guy. It just kept me busy, and I like to do it. I like talking to people, so I didn't mind. So I would go out the front door. They were crazy about it because they wanted to make sure they saw me at all times. That's just how it was. So I would go out and, tell people online, it's moving slow. It's not moving slow. Look, guys, you're never getting in. I would give them a heads up if I could. If it was somebody I felt comfortable with, ain't no shot. Or if it was somebody I could help, try to get in. Wink, wink. That's also how you can make a few dollars. But we're not here to talk about how you can make money at the door. We'll leave that for another night. If you want the special thoughts on how to make money as a doorman. But that's not what this is about. So I go outside, I just do my thing. It's brutal. I keep telling you, that's how cold it was. Go back in. Probably about a good 45 minutes go by. This one, again, I keep saying it. I won't refer to the guy's height. Because people think I'll have something against shorter people. I don't. It had nothing to do with that. It just seems like everybody was shorter, but he wasn't. This person comes up to me, this male, very nice. I know for a fact he's been waiting with 4 women in this freezing cold for that 45 minutes to an hour that I was there. I know I'd seen him the whole time outside, waiting in line, very patient, not saying a word. He comes up to me by the inside the door. He opens the door. I open, comes in, not nasty. Says, "Excuse me," serious but not nasty. "Excuse me, I've been outside waiting patiently. I'm supposed to be, allowed in." I said, "No, who, number one, trying to come off nice. I don't want to come off like an animal. Number one, who are you if you're supposed to come in? Nobody has said anything to me. Let me get the manager and see if your name's on the clipboard." Now, that's why I said nobody had said to me. Usually a manager who was in charge of that would come over to security and say, or the doorman that works for Pesties as just a greeter would say to me, "We have so-and-so coming in tonight. Let's make sure, he has no problems getting in." They would always tell us. Absolutely. And if there were any special instructions, no pitches, no this, no that, whatever. Well, I get the manager, the doorman, but he's also Flash manager. So, yeah, that's right, bro. Yeah. I got another good fancy word for you too, bro. When it came to working with the Hollywood stuff, we would consider executive protection. That's the best one I've heard. But there are different. We'll get into that another time because I worked some places where definitely I was nothing more than a bouncer, and then there were places where, yeah, it's a lot more fancier, and I was the doorman. Yeah, that's the word. That's why it is the doorman show. Well, anyway, I get the people over, and the doorman for Pastis comes over to me with his clipboard, and he says to me, I tell him, I said, by this time the gentleman gets a little flustered and walks out because it took a while for him to come over because he was, greeting people in the restaurant or whatever. Comes over to me and I tell him, I said, yo, my man, I said, George was there. I said, "George, this gentleman just came in and he said he's supposed to be inside, but he didn't give me his name, and nobody has said anything to me about somebody coming in." Now, I told you, all the guys from The Sopranos would come in, so I got to know the ones that were the regulars, they just came right in. But anybody else, usually you would give in a heads up. So-and-so's coming. It turns out that we made Tommy Hilfiger wait for a long period of time in the freezing cold. Now, Mr. Hilfiger is not used to waiting on anything. So normally that could be a problem. He's a good customer. He was. I would find out. I would see him a lot after that. Thank God he didn't throw a tantrum. He didn't. But nobody did tell me. So I wasn't, it's not like I knew about it and made him wait in the cold. Then I would deserve to be disciplined. No doubt about it. But that wasn't the case. So, of course, everybody's why is he, he's a good coach. It's Tommy Hilfiger. That meant something. And he's got 4, not my, opinion or taste, whatever. He's got 4 like models with him. And I would come to learn that Tommy Hilfiger, that was his thing, but he would always, wherever he went, he had models with him. That was just his thing. Maybe that was, the guy was top designer. I believe he still is. But that he finally gets in And I have to, of course, I'm the bad guy. I have to go online, find him. He's still online, freezing. Go over to him and said, Mr. Hilfiger, still not met. Please call me Tommy. Mr. Hilfiger. I want to give him that respect. I said, Mr. Hilfiger, total misunderstanding. Sorry you waited. Had to wait like this. Whatever. I didn't want to say nobody said nothing to me. It's all their fault. No, that I feel the need to take the blame for it either, but I just didn't say it. I just said, total mix up, whatever. Come this way, your party. Guy was a total gentleman. I understand, no problem. Walk him in, and when I tell you, I'm telling you, it had to be. I'm not exaggerating. It was one of them freaking 10-degree nights, and if anybody knows Manhattan, especially down there, down by the water, right on the pier, you're right by the piers there. It is freezing. It's much colder in the city. Us city people call it the city. Us people that live in the boroughs, we call that the city. So it's much colder in Manhattan for all non-New Yorkers. It's much colder in Manhattan than it is the boroughs. So Tommy Hilfiger, Mr. Hilfiger, I should actually ask to see if Mr. Hilfiger would sponsor our show because I had so many nice things to say about him. But I'm sure he wouldn't. We need probably a lot more people watching for Mr. Hilfiger to want to be involved with a guy like me. But anyway, Tommy was good people. He didn't look for nobody. Now, normally, honestly, I've seen similar things happen like that. The guy be nice, and behind your back, he's telling the owner, who he knew well, obviously. Keith McNally was the owner. He owned many places that were always packed. Fire those bastards, no doubt, but he wasn't that way. He was how he acted with us, not a problem. I understand things happen. I was shocked. I actually, when I got home, I told my wife, I said, because whenever I worked, I always came home with something, whether it be good food or just a story to make her laugh. So, she'd be waiting. Anything good tonight? I said, oh, it's good. But we made Tommy Hilfiger. It's a team. We made Tommy Hilfiger by mistake. Wait for probably a good hour or so in the freezing cold, before he got his table. She's like, what? I said, yeah. So she looked at me. She said, you didn't do this shit did you do this on purpose? My wife. The cat. My wife's name's Cat. The cat, of course not. What? I wouldn't do that. You know that. She says, I know, but did somebody piss you off during the day or something that maybe you were mad, you were pissed off at somebody? She said, no, it was just a total mix-up. So that was a short one. That was my little interaction with Mr. Hilfiger. Got off on the wrong start. Later on, Tommy was a regular at Pastis, and he was a regular at another place two other places owned by Keith McNally that I worked, which was Balthazar and a place called Schiller's. They're all in that not really Tribeca, Lower East Side, which is now called the LES and stuff like that. But Tommy Hilfiger was a decent guy, and we made him stand in the freezing cold with 4 models that were freezing. It now takes us to Cipriani Concert Series. So, my detail is the concert series, so I don't know who. Stevie, what's happening, buddy? So, I don't know who. I do know that, let's get in the middle. Okay. All right. So, I do know that it's a concert. So whenever there's the concert series at Cipriani, it's crazy paparazzi. So that's really your main thing about your night. You're not even thinking about who's there, what the event is. It's really about, oh, man, I got to deal with the paparazzi. But a good part of the paparazzi, if you had good ones, and when I say good ones, you had people that listened and respected you, asking them to stay back. And if they were good, you were going to take care of them, make sure they got their picture, a good shot. And that's what they fight about. I'm not here to give paparazzi lessons, but because I couldn't understand it. But as you work them, you get to know these guys, and they will tell you. It's basically whoever gets the best picture the fastest and gets it out there in publication makes the most money on it. And of course, if they can get a picture of somebody in a bad, compromising position, a situation, situation, meaning maybe they get caught with another woman, man, whatever. Somebody not supposed to be there. Somebody may be drunk, whatever. You get the story. So they're always looking for a hot picture that they can get out there right away and sell. Now, paparazzi was crazy because they would come, like, depending on who. So that really would tell me before. Sometimes I would even find out. I could be walking down, Broad Street or Wall Street, that's where Cipriani was, 55 Wall. So as I'm walking down, half a block away, you start to see, packs of cameras, and you just know by the cars and the amount of people standing outside where we would have the paparazzi lined up, with all the stanchions and all of that shit. If you saw a lot of them like 2 hours before a show, you knew it was big people on the guest list and probably a good group or somebody they really want the pictures of. So that pretty much, without even knowing, you knew the night. It was probably a big name. This night it happened to be Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now, growing up, Earth, Wind, and Fire, I'm born 67, so 70s, even in the 80s, I was somebody that loved 70s music. I like to do a lot, but Earth, Wind, and Fire, they had a lot of songs that I particularly liked. So we get there. I have to get back to the paparazzi for a minute. On the Earth, Wind, and Fire guest list that night, I just remember, like, there was the Duchess of, they called her the Duchess. She had red hair. She would come to a lot of these events. I told you so, you had your regulars, the Harvey Weinsteins, and they were regulars. The Damon Dashes, Mickey Rourke, they were regulars at these concert series. And then you had a lot of these princes and duchesses. I couldn't even keep count of them. Joe Piscopo, I remember, having interactions with him at these concert series. We did a few events with Bon Jovi, so I dealt with him on a different level. And there was many different things that you got to know some people. But the Earth, Wind, and Fire event, crazy amount of paparazzi. And you're thinking Earth, Wind, and Fire, it was their kind of, they weren't coming back. They made 20 come back. But for whatever reason, it must have been a while in between that they did a show. And they wanted, I'm thinking they're there for Earth, Wind, and Fire, and they are. But it's really about who's going to be on that red carpet besides Earth, Wind, and Fire that people are sponsoring the event, the concert series. So this Duchess of, Duchess of York, I just remember the red hair. So they're killing to get her picture. Now, if you're good at what you do at Cipriani and some of the other places, but truly Cipriani, you could really make some good money for the evening. You really can, especially with the paparazzi end of it. So I didn't mind the paparazzi so much because I usually came home with a little bit more. Every penny helps when you're raising kids. Let's face it, a lot of hours. You got to make a couple bucks if you can. So if you're able to give somebody a much better picture angle, and get them closer to where they. Thank you. That's probably at the Duchess of York. So no, maybe I got it wrong. This was a woman. No, don't tell me the woman was into toe sucking. Oh my god. Oh, that's nasty. But anyway, hey, whatever you're into. But this was a female with like red hair. I'm sure you can look it up. I'm telling you, most of Cipriani's stuff, and we talked about this. You could probably pull up whoever was at that event, probably. Like you might get pictures of red carpet stuff, but it's just crazy how I could never find anything and never realized it when I worked it. And I said it. When you look back at it, nobody ever. You would figure somebody would have posted concerts on YouTube by now. Nothing. Unless somebody, I'm not good enough. If somebody could ever pull up anything, I'm telling you, there's a good chance you'll see me because usually I worked right in front of the stage when the show came on. 9 out of 10, I was always right in front. But nobody, and we didn't pat people down for cameras or nothing like that. Just nobody took pictures, I guess. That's why I said there was a lot of the who's, and some of them turned out to be not such good people that made the news, as we talked about, a few of them. And Benny Boy, what's happening? So Earth, Wind, and Fire, I was able to get a couple of people, paparazzi, better angles, get them a little bit closer. And so the night started off pretty good, a couple hundred extra. So I'm good. Having a good night. This particular night, after I'm done, after the red carpet's done, right to my spot at the door. Once the guests come in, the selected few, I'm going to go up to the dressing room and kind of like Duran Duran, I'm going to bring Earth, Wind, and Fire down. I don't remember who the opening act for them was. Sometimes there weren't opening acts. This particular night, I believe there was. I just don't remember who it was. So everybody's in, doors are closed. Earth, Wind, and Fire. They have like it wasn't like the green room upstairs. I call it a dressing room. It was like the green room, There were no crazy demands. No, Baywatch was my brother. So there was no crazy demands as far as when I get to some people, man, and I tell you about some of their crazy demands. I got one that just came to mind right now. J-Lo. She didn't want no lights, one candle, only red velvet. Everything had to be it was just weird shit. But you know me, I'll get screwed up and I'll forget, and we'll go right into a J-Lo show. So we'll leave that for another one. So there was like a little green room off to the side, and then I would get them, and then we would go. They had two choices. We had a back elevator we could take them up, or we could walk around. Nobody would see them. People wouldn't be going crazy. But they were pretty cool. They wanted to actually walk right through the crowd to like this winding staircase. If anybody's ever been to Cipriani Wall Street, you would know the layout. There might be people out there watching this that have been to fundraisers there or a concert series. So you never know. They'll understand the layout. I'm just trying to explain it for people that don't know. They walked through. They were cool. They were down to earth from what it seemed to be. And we take them right up this winding staircase, and now they're in their green room. And this is, they're not going to go on for another hour and a half. So again, my role is to just hang out outside the green room with another friend, coworker, who turned out to be a friend. And they were cool. They were cool. They weren't when I say cool. Remember I told you about Duran Duran? Like they were above and beyond as far as like, yo, you want some food? They were looking to feed us. They were like unbelievably nice. They didn't think they were better than anybody, stuff like that. Earth, Wind, and Fire was really cool too. But no, I mean, we're not supposed to. Honestly, we're not supposed to. You're not supposed to take food from them. You're not supposed to eat with them. You're not. You have a job to do, and that's just to make sure nobody sneaks in, happens to find the green room, and wants to bother them. Nobody's trying to hurt Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? So, I mean, let's put it in perspective. It's not the president was there. Although I will tell you stories of some crazy politicians that had events there that it did was different. But they had Secret Service and whatnot. But things were pretty fun. So Earth, Wind, and Fire is in their green room, and they're cool, no crazy demands. They didn't have to have an Xbox or a PlayStation like Snoop. VG, actor, jerk is a person. Whoever that is, Maddie, I'm sure. If you're saying it, I got you, brother. So, Earth, Wind, and Fire, it's time. We would always know, like, 5-10 minutes. We would give a knock. If they didn't have, and all of them did. They usually all had their own people, but sometimes their people were asleep at the wheel, disappearing, or whatever, depending on who they were. So a lot of times we were the ones to tell them, all right, it's time. I mean, it's really supposed to be you're letting their person know, all right, they're telling us 5 minutes. So they're employees of Earth, Wind, and Fire directly. We're just working with them. We're employees for the house. So their guys, they had a female, I think. They had multiple people that worked with them, but can't find them. We don't have time. All right, 10 minutes, they're ready to go on, knock on the door. Just letting you guys know, 10 minutes. And, you got to understand, I told you guys, I was past the point of it was just like another day at the office, like it's not, like I told you with the sports stuff, I wasn't like, you figured, in the beginning, yeah, but you get so used to dealing with all these different people that everybody sees and knows and fans of, it just becomes part of the routine, So it wasn't like, but again, like I said with Duran, I found myself not working the show. I was at the show, maybe enjoying the show too much. So Earth, Wind, and Fire, it's time. Bring them down. And I take my position in front. And man, they put on a show like no other. I could not believe how they sounded. Again, another group. They definitely were not lip syncing, singing. They were phenomenal. They gave another group that gave a lot. Now, I know the people that were invited to these events, and the ones that even if you were invited, you still had to give a donation. That's now most of these people were billionaires and multi-millionaires. I've said that. That's how you get in. You have to be part of it. That's just a club. But Earth, Wind, and Fire put on a phenomenal show. I believe the lead singer was a gentleman, Philip Michael Bailey. Boy, this guy, to hear that guy up close, powerful, amazing. And then they had, I believe this gentleman just passed away. He was the guy who wore a lot of makeup. He had crazy hair, and it always looked like he was playing this weird-looking guitar. He was a little, and that wasn't because of how he looked. He was a little like strange. It's just like strange. Philip Bailey, yes. He did that song with Phil Collins too, but he was phenomenal. Let me tell you something. I never realized how many hits Earth, Wind, and Fire had. I mean, I like music, so I know, I love music actually. So, and I like a wide range. So I knew most of their music, but I didn't even realize like how many hits they had. Philip Michael Bailey was phenomenal, and not only was he phenomenal, he was a good dude. Stevie. He was a good dude. He really was. Um, and I'm not saying it because they were nice to me or my guys that I worked with. No, they were good to staff. They were nice to staff. They were nice to the people. Now, I do believe and I know that they knew that the people that were there were the uber wealthy and the movers and shakers, of their industry and the political industry and world and the Hollywood industry. So, do I believe they were being nice just for that? No, you usually could tell. No, they were nice to staff, not just us, the servers, people that would bring them their food and all of that. They were just nice people. They really were. Yeah, there were a couple of strange eggs, but you know what? I'm not sure. I know this for a fact too. I'm a guy, I got a few tattoos. My point is this: I know tattoo artists. I'll use this. I'm not going to go off on a tangent about tattoo artists, but what I'm going to say is this: tattoo artists, the better they get, the more weird they are. It's true. They become rock stars because they know they have a 2-year, 3-year waiting list for somebody to get a tattoo from them. So they become their own rock star, and it's true. Some of the weirdest people I met were tattoo artists. I'm telling you, it's going to sound, oh, Stevie, I'm telling you, I'm not making it up. It's true. But they were cool, and Philip Michael Bailey was good, and Philip Michael Bailey he was the front. His nickname was the Voice, I believe they called him. I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting the other guy now. He was a gentleman. He was one of the original founders of Earth, Wind, and Fire as well. He was up front. He had a good voice himself, and he was always harmonizing with Philip Michael Bailey. He was a shorter guy, a little bit more light skinned than Philip. But anyway, they were phenomenal. They would take pictures, stop anything that people want. One or two did pass away recently. Yes, I don't think Philip did he? I know the guy that I was talking about with the crazy hair and the makeup and that guitar, and he always wore glitter jackets. I believe he passed away, and one of the others. I don't know if Philip Michael Bailey was one, but I know a couple of them in the last couple of years have passed. But that was a phenomenal show. Good people from what I knew that night and other stories that, staff had talked to me about. Nothing but good stuff. Show was phenomenal. Again, a lot of times just because maybe somebody's not overly friendly doesn't mean they're bad. And, you could have a bad day. We could have a bad day. I had a bad night the other night. I said some things. Don't take them back. I felt the way I felt, but you know what I mean? There's no, you know what I mean? So I had a bad 30-minute span. So, that can happen. Doesn't mean, just because maybe somebody's not overly friendly or this, that, the other thing makes them bad. What separated them from when like I said about what I thought about Rod Stewart, that's the truth. He wasn't a nice guy. You can't treat your fans like that. You had people that followed you all over your tour, and you wouldn't allow them to take a picture with you. You wouldn't allow them to do nothing with you. You made it known you didn't want this, you didn't want that. And I was the worst guy to ever tell so-and-so doesn't want this, doesn't want that, doesn't want this, doesn't want that. And people are like screaming and begging, please, please, please. And so call me whatever you want. I would find a way for them to get that picture or whatever, because these people forget sometimes that if it wasn't for your fans, you wouldn't have a sold out concert. That's all right. What did Ben say? Yeah. Sometimes I did some uncool things too, I gather. But thanks, Ben. Appreciate that, bud. Benny, I remember all the Soupy sales stuff. So that was really the Wind and Fire. Like I said, some of these are short and sweet, and if nothing is, it's not always gonna. I don't want to always tell you stuff about people that I had, that weren't, what I deem to be a decent person. But what I deem to be decent might not be somebody else's decent. You know what I mean? Everybody's different. So what gives me the right to say this or that? The only thing that gives me the right is because maybe I was closer to the situation than somebody else might have been. And I've seen it over a 2-day period, 3-day period, whatever the case may be. So if I say something that's very negative about somebody that maybe somebody likes, or had the poster on their wall of that person or that group, I'm not saying it because I knew you had the poster on your wall. I'm only saying it because I had an interaction with them and it wasn't good. And and there's going to be some of those. So tonight, like I said, I don't lay them out for which one I'm going to talk about. I wanted to tell you that little thing about Tommy Hilfiger, and I wanted to tell you how great Earth, Wind, and Fire was all these years later, still performing, still sounding great. Ben, after the other night, I'm not allowed to curse for a while, so everybody can see what's written down there. I'm going to say it. If you said scumbag, I didn't. If I would have said that they were no good scumbags, he said he wouldn't have bought any more music or watched them. Taylor Swift is a great tipper. Laugh out loud. Tons of money and very generous. Stevie, I was going to end this on a great note. Why did you say that? Now I have to go into who was some of the worst. I won't. We'll leave that for a one-night event. The worst millionaire, kabillionaire, whatever word you want to use, stars that were brutal. The worst of the worst that I knew of when it came to tipping. And I only knew of it because we didn't work for tips in security. We didn't work for tips. We created our own money, number one. Not everybody did that either, But listen, man, they didn't pay us enough to be satisfied. Now, maybe that was just my thinking, but there's always a way. And I'm not talking about taking somebody's wallet and doing anything criminal. No. It's very simple. You have a couple from Chicago. I'm just using it. They want to eat at Tao. They did not make a reservation. You are not getting a table at Tao on a Friday night back then. I don't know if you get it today. That being said, that couple wants to come. They just came in from Chicago. There are no tables. But what if I can get a table? I'm just saying, I wasn't the only guy that did it. What if I can get a table? What if I have a table? What if we always had 2 tables? Because we knew that would happen. Every Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Not something. So, you work with the maitre d's and it becomes a team effort where you try to always have something available or get an idea where something's going to become available. Maybe it's the manager, that's got the book, that knows when everybody's coming in, gets staggered out. He gets taken care of. Now that table becomes valuable. That couple from Chicago wants to eat there so bad. They understand it might cost $200 to get in the door, but I can get you a table. You don't have to wait for the reservation. You don't have to come back in 2 months. You don't have to come back to New York again. I can get you now. I didn't have to sell it. We didn't have to sell it. It was simple. Listen, you can wait till next Tuesday, like they're telling you. Give me a minute. Let me talk to the manager. Listen, I can get you upstairs, the best spot right now. I'm telling you right now, he wants at least 200. I can't get him any lower. No problem. No problem. Don't let him know that because he'll charge you 3. Don't even talk about that. And when you said something like that, you'd be surprised how many times that gentleman was so happy or just was showboating, he'd give you the 3. So, you learn, a lot of bad things taught me that behavior, but you have to learn as a doorman how to make extra money too. You did. You did. You get a table, you should get a couple. Well, Stevie, not everybody knows that, unfortunately. But in these places, I'm telling you, I cannot. This is turning into something totally different, but I cannot tell you how many events at Cipriani, Tao, but Cipriani, Tao, money makers, and they didn't have to be concerts. I mean, there was so many fundraisers they would do where you had, all the actors, actresses, singers, they all would come out for whatever gala it was. So Joe Public he's in New York with whoever, could be his wife, the Gulmata, who knows who he's with. I don't care who he's with. And he would, I'm at the door. What can I do for you? Nice summer night. I'm roaming around. I'm looking. Where can I make a few dollars? Guy said, "What's going on in there?" Private event. I'm sorry, Top. I'm not even supposed to tell you. You know how to do it. Why? What's going on in there? It's private. If I told you, it's going to upset you because I know you want to come in. I can see it, and I don't. It's not. You don't want to know what's going on. So now you're already. You're reeling them in. You're reeling them in. I told you guys I don't know how to fish, so I don't even know how to do that. I guess I'll just go like this. So you're reeling them in. You're just setting the foundation. So before you know it, you're telling them what's going on inside there. But it's a private event. If God forbid I ever get caught bringing somebody in, I lose my job. But honestly, yeah, it's anybody you've ever seen in Hollywood's in there. They're having a fundraiser. It's like an auction also going on. So whoever's in there belongs there. You think you can get me in? Sir, do you have any idea? Do you have any idea that these people are paying $2,500, $5,000, $10,000? They're crazy numbers for a seat. Forget about a table. Table's $50,000, $100,000 for the table. Now they had it. But that's how you'd reel them in. And, so they didn't mind giving me $300-400 because they're going to go into this event and not pay for nothing. When you walk into Cipriani, it's like a wedding. There's no cash exchanged. So you could make big money out, for the right event. If you're able to make it happen, you also now got to get them in. But there was ways to do that. But that really wasn't that hard. But you got to make sure the right person's with you. And you also got to make sure that person's not setting you up outside. So you do run some risk, but it's all good. But when they go in, they're not paying ever again. There's no cash exchange inside those places. Without and I'll tell you plenty of good nights of that. From the limo guys that would line up outside, they had to pay us. But it all worked hand in hand. You know what I mean? The people are done with the party. They want to leave. They want a car. You got a limousine waiting right out. You had limousines would line up. Maybe it's somebody is driving that limousine. How about one better? Maybe it's your limousine that you got a driver on. Now, I didn't have that. I wish I did, but I knew guys that did. So they're working security, right? But they got their limousine that somebody else is running, They're making money in all different angles. Some would say that's illegal. I don't see how it is. I'm security, right? Somebody says, I want a limousine, they're trying to impress whoever. Oh, that's just how they want to travel. Back then, limousines were the thing. Now it's they're using the Escalades and all of that stuff. They went to more of the SUV thing, has replaced the stretch limos. Now I don't know, but I believe the day the stretch limo is kind of gone. I mean, they're still around. There's still people that want them, but it's really about the Escalade and Navigators hooked up, the Sprinters and stuff like that they hook them up. So when you had those angles covered, boy, woof, you can make some money. So you get the people coming in, you get them. Look, the way I saw it, you're eating you're at a 5-star, 10-star event, rubbing elbows with everybody you've ever wanted to rub elbows with in your life. You could never buy a ticket to get there, whether you had money or not. You were in an exclusive event with people that invitations don't go out. You have to be invited. So the way I saw it was, I'm giving you access to something you will never have access to. Something you want access to, otherwise you would not be with me for 45 minutes asking me every question under the roof about what's going on inside. So when you're spending that much time with me, that tells me where I can go. What did Benny say? Craig, I forgot all about that. You had a great storming every week. Yeah, that was some crazy times, man, because, that was a different thing. I learned to enjoy it because it was different, but I had to figure out a way to make money. I mean, if I'm going to spend 8 hours, 10 hours sometimes at these events, man, that 200 a night or whatever they were giving us, no. And the way I saw it, I'm sorry. They're making Cipriani forget about it. $1 million bar mitzvahs, $1 million communions, $10 million weddings. I'm not just spitting out numbers. I'm telling you a fact. Dookie. Oh, I thought it was Big Nick. I thought I said Northern Boulevard. I was like, what? Northern Boulevard? Oh, so anyway, yeah. So, you couldn't even walk in these places. You got everybody in Hollywood's there, or if you're a sports person and say there was a sporting event going on, so you got all retired athletes or whatever, and they're raising money for football players, baseball, whatever sport. So you got guys that love sports that want to be around that, or the Actors Guild, whatever was going on, people wanted to be there. They were going to eat the best of the best, drink the best booze, and then be able to take pictures and rub elbows with all these people for the next 7 hours, or whatever they're going to do. They got the green light to do whatever they want. I would tell them, don't act up, because if you act up in here, which never happened, I worked Cipriani for a good amount of years, at least 5, and I'm telling you, thank you, Tommy. Let me put that up there. So, right. Tommy, right? You work the door. You got to make a few dollars. Now, of course, you're not demanding it. Absolutely. You're not demanding it. You're very diplomatic about it. And I was kind of blunt, not overly blunt. You always could take the pressure of you got your finger on the pulse. You know how bad somebody wants to come in or not. So, after a few minutes of me telling them, I'm sorry, this is close. This is a private event. This is very high end. I would always throw that out first. And they wouldn't just leave. If they left right away, I knew they were not interested in coming in, right? They just keep walking. But if they stayed and they would do these things, try to see who's there, and Robert Downey just walked by them, and I'm using his name because I remember a particular evening that happened. And then, oh wow, Robert Downey, Now you don't have them yet, but you're getting close. Now usually the next question was, Robert Downey's here? Who else is here? Sir, I'm not allowed to tell you that. And then, if he was with a woman, I cared about him very much. That person I was talking to, of course, I would make believe, like I didn't want to say it in front of his wife. Sorry, this is a private event. I don't want to embarrass you. It's going to come out wrong, but nobody's allowed to come in. It's very hard. Like, even if I could help you, I would help you. If I could do it, but I'm running a very high risk. Once you're there, you find it's really about me. I gotta, I put it all on me. He had no, because I had to show him. Once he's in there, he's good. He ain't got to worry about nothing, which was true. So I had to play hero. Everything's on me. I'll lose my job. Meanwhile, it's already taken care of. And then you also, if the guy is listening, you talk for 10. You're talking to him for 10 minutes on how difficult this is going to be to make happen. You got him because he's listening to you. Otherwise, he's walking away already. And we need to get to what it's going to cost him to get in. Dookie says, I did a bodyguard job for Pamela Anderson at the China Club. Awesome, Duke, because that's great. What up? Dude, I love it, man. You know what? Everybody, I'm going to read it, Dookie. I know everybody can see it because everybody's in the chat. Did a bodyguard job for Pamela Anderson at the China Club. I'm telling you why I'm laughing at the China Club before I even got to the end. Because at security, we had to know what nights were the hottest nights to go where. So that's also how you made money. We weren't concierge and stuff like that, but you could make money that way. Meaning, we had friends that worked a lot of spots, but not from that angle. People would sometimes, that's the only way we get tips. Like if somebody came up to us and said, listen, China Club, right away, I just thought of Tuesday night. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, back in the day, I believe the China Club was hot on a Tuesday night. The China Club and Windows of the World in the Trade Center. Tuesday and Thursdays and the Copa. I'm telling you, there was a night, every night had a spot. So what a fucking pig on top. She never paid me. I'm sorry you never got paid, Duke, but it is so true. It is so true that some of these people that have so much are dirtbags. Like they don't believe in tipping. They don't forget it. Like look what you're doing. You're providing them with a personal service, very high-end service as well, right? I did a little. I went and got a little training, and it was more on how to behave, body language, stuff like that, Dookie. You know what I mean? You were highly trained. You served our country in a very, very, very serious manner. And what you offered them, it makes me sick because I truly understand that they don't respect it. And it's because of people like this that everybody's got to pay. I'm sorry. I came out wrong, but that's the truth. She wanted an armed bodyguard. There were 4 of us. Oh, man, dude, I get it. Matt, Jimmy Burns. Benny's going to comment, and he said Jimmy Burns. Jimmy Burns, Northern Boulevard, right, Matty? Jimmy Burns brawls every night. Roro G, she's probably gone. But Jimmy Burns, she would know Roro G. Jimmy Burns was, oh man, number fights, just like poets on Northern. Just like we were talking the other day about, what was it, joint Matt, remember we were talking about, I told you once I used to pay them a visit. Oh, Ro, you there? Roro, remember Jimmy Burns way down there? It was actually like my older brother would go down there. I was too young for it. Jimmy Burns was by where Flushing Town Hall is on Northern. Jimmy Burns was like right across the street that way, next to the Armory, if I remember correctly. My big brother bought the same. A Dublin Pub was the joint I was thinking of, Matty. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know Dublin Pub was. Yeah, they paid. This isn't that show. Craig, read what I said. All right, I'm looking, Ben. Ben, I'm looking. What was the name of that rock club on Northern Boulevard where we waited for the bouncers that threw? Here we go. Craig, what was the name of the rock club on Northern Boulevard? We waited for the bouncers that threw us out and we blindsided them. 15 of us. What club was that? Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, I know. I remember it like it was yesterday. What the frick? I'm going to come up with the name, Benny. Duke just asked me something. Craig, you do any work at the vault? Never. Never. Talk to me about the vault, Duke. I'll tell you a crazy place that was low end, but it was a crazy joint. The Village Idiot. I'm telling you, that and another place called the Patriot. They're all in Manhattan. The Village Idiot. When I tell you, I told Maddie this, boy, did they name that place the right name. Definitely the Village Idiot. It was the nastiest, steamiest, whatever word you could think of. The bartenders, they were all females. They were more drunk than the patrons. So it was chaos. It was chaos. It was nuts. And it was a really, you either had like old degenerates that would hang out there, or it was a college, a lot of college students would come to the Village Idiot. Eliphas. Benny, I'm thinking that was it. Then, but back then, maybe they called it the Green Parrot after Eliphas became the Green. I don't know. I'm thinking that was it. Yeah, when Duke said the vault, I was thinking he meant the Village Vault, which was in our village, but no. And Roro G would remember the Village Vault. Roro, right? We used to have a lot of friends up in the Village Vault. All right, Vault was a freaking shit show. Head bouncing name was Damien. Yeah, that tells us a lot there. I'm thinking, did the Vault turn into Webster Hall? Because if the Vault became Webster Hall, which I believe it might have been, because you know how clubs do it. They constantly change their names, every so often because for the liquor license. Who gets in trouble? Joey Boombots can't have that liquor license no more, so Vinny Boombots now gets it. Whatever. But that's how you do it, by changing the name. So-and-so was on the liquor. I'm just trying to think. Remember the Oddfellow Hall on Northern Boulevard? I don't think there was anything that ended in Hall we didn't mess with. We were everywhere, I'm telling you. And I'm talking about just as wild, just part of, the guy was 7 foot tall, looked like a WWF wrestler. Absolutely, dude. I get the picture, man. Oh, now you just said a 7 foot wrestler. Ben, Eliphas, absolutely. We had a major brawl. Yeah, I remember Benny. I think weren't we outnumbered? But anyway, yeah, that was a rock star event. I don't even think we started the fight either, right? I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe I did. No, not me. Did I say that? No. I had a habit. My friends will tell you this. I love to joke around, but I had a habit when I drank. I wasn't like a nasty drunk. I like to have fun, so I was a ball buster. I would always be like, I thought I was the life of the party, but I guess I guess the limelight, yeah, another wild place. But I guess some people don't like to have their balls broke for 6 hours. I don't know, but whatever. But Benny, I thought you were going to talk about. Oh boy, it was. I'm telling you, I'm thinking the ball was like became Webster Hall, because Webster Hall had some crazy shit going on. We had at Webster Hall, you had like hip hop on one floor. You had like up on the top floor, you had women in bird cages on bungee cords. No, I'm telling you, crazy shit. And this sounds kind of like that vibe, but you're probably talking, Duke. The vault was probably down in the village back then. So anything that was going on down in the village back then, You know, if we're talking 70s, 80s, Duke, it's probably the Village. You know, a lot of crazy shit. Yeah, you make crazy money at the door. I'll tell you. You know, now they were talking about, and you know, we're just keeping it pumping. We're just keeping it moving. But and I know we started out, but it has to do with really working the doors. Um, One night I'm asked to work this place called The Park. It was a nightclub. Um, and man, it was beautiful. I mean, I've been to a lot of nightclubs, the Village Vault, a lot of memories of Whitestone Village Vault. Yeah, there was a few dust ups in it too. Billy Sneeze. Oh my God, Manny Beyond, some of the greats, legends of the neighborhood. So anyway, um, yes, the Village in the '80s, and oh man, no doubt, Carmine Street, you know, and of course you had the famous Christopher Street, which back then, you know, and even I don't know to this day, but the Village, especially back then, was known for the what today is known as, I guess, I guess so many letters, I don't know how to say it. The alphabet community. I don't know how to say. I don't know all the letters. I'm sorry. I don't. Anyway, so yes, you had a lot of the gay clubs and all of that was down that way. But I will say this. So I'm asked to work. It's going to go what I'm going to say. Um, Psycho Circus, boy, Maddie, you're coming up. Oh man, Fun House. I'm telling you, I'm asked to work this place called the Roro G. Thank you so much, Roro. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, I'm asked to work this place, the Park. I know not. I've never worked the Park before. I get there. It is beautiful. They have four different huge places. Huge. They have a green room. The green room is everything like tropical. That also happens to be like the freestyle room. Anybody, the kind of music like I was playing the other night. Even like tonight, like I played a little the breakdance music. Well, freestyle kind of came after that. Um, Nikki was making fun of me playing TKA, and I was breaking balls. So, Sada, what's up, bro? It's good to see you. So, the green room, which was all tropical, was their freestyle room. You know, anybody that likes freestyle, Johnny O, George Lamont, all of that. TKA, and I could go on and on and on. Noel, all of that. I grew up in that time, so I like that. So long story short, then they had the Velvet Room, different than the Velvet Lounge that I worked, and it was just all velvet. That was like the salsa, merengue, all of that. So there was like, I'm telling you, so many different rooms. But what they didn't tell me, where they wanted me to work that evening, was the top floor, which was called the sauna. The sauna. It's like a Wednesday night in the middle of the week. I'm like 17th Street and 10th Avenue. Now, a lot of clubs were on the west side. And the west side of Manhattan, if anybody knows, is a pain in the ass, especially late at night. Meaning, if you're not driving there with your car and you know you got a good spot to put your car and you're good for the next, till 4 in the morning, stuff don't close till 4 in the morning. And that means you're not getting out till 5:30. Here we go. With all due respect, I think you should apologize to Smoke. I don't think you want those problems. Really? Okay, I think I want those problems, and I think that I read your comment. I'm okay with that. And sorry to hear that. Take care. Lemoore East. And by the way, that's a hell of a name, Queen 39 or whatever your name is. You probably have the right name. So, the top floor is the sauna. So what they don't tell me is it's like this really narrow hallway, and I get up to the top. It's all like parquet floors, wood, shiny, and it's basically old. It's like the disco, classic disco. But what they don't tell me is this particular floor is all male, and they called it the sauna because on the deck there was like 3 saunas, and yeah, I'm not gonna. It was, look, whatever. It just yeah, everything wide out in the open, and it was a tough night of work. Yeah, because yeah, it was a tough night of work. Made a lot of money. They overpaid. Trust me, they overpaid. I didn't ask for a penny. That's just how they paid. But that was my experience working that club. Nick, we knew that was coming. And I was going to say something to not apologize, and I don't want to go into it, but what this guy doesn't know, he's probably the same guy that's been doing it. Unfortunately, a person that I respect is friends with that kid, and I tried to try to do that. And how many trolls have just come out of that channel and have come in here? Whatever, bro. I guess that problem's gonna come, and I'll wait for it. Thank you. Thanks for the warning, by the way. Thank you. Roro, you're a voice of reason, bro. Thank you. I love you. I love Brett. You're a friend. You'll always be a friend. You know what, bro? I love you. It's all good. Oh boy. Queen 69. It's said that a man or whoever feels the need, like can't show their face, I'll just show your face, come out here, tell me you're upset about whatever it is you're upset about. Maybe I have a reason for you. Maybe I don't feel like I need to, or maybe I do. I will give you that reason. But when you do that, I don't owe you nothing. And now we're even. I said what you had to say. I said what I had to say. You've now sent somebody to say what you have to say. I've told you I'm all right with that. Thank you for the warning. And I guess we'll see, right? I guess we'll see. Hey, Timmy Irish, man, what's up, bro? Timmy. Roro, all the time, babe. We're not going to let nobody ruin the show. And you know what? You could give that gentleman my phone number personally and have him call me, and me and him could have a nice conversation like men. And I'll speak to him before this thing gets silly. I don't want it to get silly, bro. I don't. I was very hot for a reason, and you know the reason. The worst thing anybody could do is threaten me. Not me like that, like you could threaten anybody. All you're doing is warning them. That's all you're doing. We're on YouTube. I said what I said. We're in the same neighborhood. Chill, relax, stop. Because in the end, you're going to call the police. Just end it. End it. It's over. You didn't like what I said. I'm okay with what you said. It's over. You got your point across. Right? You're coming after me. Guess what? I'll be waiting. I'm always prepared. I guess you'll have to find out if I'm prepared. Right? No, it has nothing to do with you. No, zero. It has nothing to do with you. Unfortunately, it's sad. Nothing to do with you, Ro. You're my friend, and so is Brad. And boy, it's all good. We had a good night and a great show, and we had a lot of fun. And Ro, I love you. I've said that from day one. I love Brad, and unfortunately, we keep getting trolls that keep coming out of somebody's show. So, things got said the other night about somebody that used to be on his show that I feel very strongly about. And everything I said is 1,000,000% of how I feel and accurate. And unfortunately, that show that person's on now and has a wrench in, that person that has that show, he has no control over who goes in his show. Nobody does. I don't have control over anything. Don't want it. But I pray none of my people that are in here would ever go into another show and start any shit. So it is what it is, Unfortunately, I said what I said about Mr. I'm not going to mention his name again. And I'm never going to take that back. And that's that. No, Penny, I wasn't there. No, I wasn't there. There you go, Ro. There you go, Ro. But no, I just want you, and I know you that's why I'm not gonna, say it to you. It's true. No, it has nothing to do with you at all, zero. Um, it's just, crazy, man. But anyway, we're on YouTube. I guess I gotta expect, friendly fire. When somebody cares about that other person that I mentioned, that's a habitual liar and scumbag little life. Um, you know, people's feelings get hurt because he has a wrench in their show, and that's fine. But when three of your people that have wrenches in your show have come in here 2 weeks before I went off last night, maybe somebody should have put a stop to that. Or you didn't know about it. So what I said last night should now make you aware of it. But it didn't. But now it doesn't matter. Because like I had to tell Kevin Marr, thank you for threatening. I appreciate that. Thanks for the warning. I was always told that. You should thank somebody that threatened you. Thank you. I'll be waiting. Oh man. Are you kidding me? Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot. Man. Here we go. Oh boy. Nick, what did I tell you was gonna happen, Nick? Anyway, I hope everybody had a great time tonight. Roro G, thank you so much, hon. No matter what, we are always going to be friends on my end. Tell Brett I got number love for him. Unfortunately, Mr. Silo is calculated and causing problems, and he knows what he's doing. And he's very calculated and knows what he's doing. And I'm not going to let that happen, though, because you know what? I'm not going to let it happen. So if you feel that threat was deserved, cool. But there won't be too many more of them. I'm sure there will be. But I guess we'll see. You know what I mean? You take care. I love everybody here. It's all good. YouTube, this is part of it, I guess. We're going to have number, love, and respect in here. We can't control who says what. And we can't blame people. Ghost, what's up, my brother? Thank you, Ghost. You know what? But I did. I said, I was upset the other night. And I went off on somebody that had it coming long overdue. And I mentioned the young man's name. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have. maybe he did not know that those trolls keep coming from his channel over here. Because it doesn't make sense. Because this guy's in his show that I love and I speak to on a regular basis. That don't live in New York. But it is what it is. So, guys, be well. Dookie, have a great night, everybody. Tomorrow night, Signature, right? Mr. DeMonica, Roro G, I love you. Maddie, Benny, Steve, Davey T, Duke, Benny Boy, we had a good time tonight. Ghost, Scott, you my brother. Thank you so much for coming in, man. Nick, we'll talk a little bit. I'll give you a holler, brother. Dookie will talk, I'm sure. Timmy Irish, I love you, bud. Jack the Ripper, what's happening, Jack the Ripper? Good to see you, my brother. Stevie. Benny boy, I just don't want to miss nobody. Ghost, my man, I really mean thank you so much. I was talking to OG Mike earlier. You know, we shoot the breeze a little bit through many different ways, but today I was on Facebook with him a little bit. And I'm usually not on Facebook. I'm usually not. But today I got caught up on Facebook for a few minutes, not much. But yo, Duke, that was some good stuff with the Stevie. We had some good laughs with the stories. It turned out to be Tommy Real Deal. It turned out to be more about the clubs and the craziness in Manhattan, right? And all the different nightclubs. Joe Town Jack, love you, brother. We had a great talk today. And you guys have a good night. Be well. God bless you. Be safe. Cinnamon Girl. Thank you, Duke. I'm glad I spoke to Cinnamon Girl. And I apologize, man. I you know what? Before we start the show, I goes 100%. I got nothing but, you know what? I'm not going to get caught up in the nonsense. It's done. It's over. Whatever. It's all good. OG Mike, number love. 100% all day, every day. Brett, New York Crime Spot. Nothing but love. Every day, all day. Anybody else? You know, it is what it is. It's all good. Everybody, be safe. Cinnamon Girl, things are every day getting a little better with the young child. But we need to pray for her. OG Ruby, what's up? Ruby, what's happening? Oh, no, it's all good. Yo, just see your name is good. Ghost, man, it's great when you come in here. It's great when I see Roro G. Roro, thank you so much for that, but it's great to see you. It's great to see your name. I know you got so many different things you moderate for. I know that. It's great when I see your guys' names. I mean that. I don't have to swear at my children, but I mean that. You know that. I know you know that. And that's it. I hope we had some laughs tonight. Again, Ruby, I'm going to be up in the BX this weekend. Should I throw the olive bread and the mozzarella? Which direction? Just tell me where. All right. All right. Yeah, definitely goes. Tomorrow night we got Jimmy on. And that's it. And everybody have a great night. Be safe. And rather than put a tear in somebody's eyes, make them laugh, make them smile, right? Better off doing that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make you laugh and smile. With that being said, there's only one thing to do at a time like this. Good night. I love you guys. Roro G, thank you so much. Oh, comments coming in. I can't say good night yet. Maddie, remember Glenn Hughes' first band, Deep Purple? Now I got to jump in, Nick. Deep Purple. My brother used to have the Deep Purple and Nazareth for some reason. I remember hanging on the wall. Baywatcher, what's up, dude? Baywatcher, talk to me, dude. Benny, I'll see you soon. Jack the Ripper, be well. Baywatcher, what's happening, man? Space Cowboy. You guys, Nikki, you like Deep Purple? I know I have an Uncle Morbid, the Catholic priest, says, thank you. Hey, babe, just rock and roll. So anyway, the little boy is doing a little better. But we need to pray for this little boy because he's young and He needs a heart transplant. So, it is a serious situation. So we continue to say our prayers for Cinnamon Girl. But she told me, she had a little break, like I said the other night, and now I totally mean what she said. I must have said something that we were talking about. Somebody asked me if I played hockey. So I said I only played roller hockey. So she didn't, or I must have said roller derby or something. So she said that she had to look up what roller hockey was. So she went and did her homework. Cinnamon Girl. She does the way Timmy Irish taught her how to score boxing. She went and found out about roller hockey. So there it is. That's it. Oh, we got Davey T, and Davey's got the Bruins, and my man Nick has got. Oh man, Nick needs the Maple Leafs, and Davey, you need the Bruins. Oh boy, here we go. All right. Oh boy, let's see what happens. You guys have a great night. Roro G, whenever you can, come around. Come around. Come around, please. Ruby, I know you're busy. Come around. I love to see you guys. I do. I do. We do. We do. I know 3 good songs. I couldn't name one. I'm bad with that. Timmy Irish, man. It's great to see your name back in there. Timmy, you see the ticker? I said you only got 10 days. 10 days. I lie to everybody. I know you got more than 10 days, but we're going to see if we can get you some time off. Anyway. Ruby, you got things to do. I know. Roro G, you guys are always busy. I know that. I know that. So whenever you just come in, I appreciate it. Ghost, I appreciate it. 1,000%, 1,000,000%. And you know what? Life is good. It's going to be good. We're all good. All right? You have a good night. Peace, love, everybody. Nikki, I'll call you later, bud.